Reddit, what's your odd bathroom habit or ritual? Story 1. I throw some of the shower water on the wall so that the shower curtain can stick to it, because I dislike when the cold air of my bathroom creeps in. Story 2. I fill my mouth with water in the shower and try to drop it so that it falls in one large blob and hits the floor with a satisfying pop, rather than a disappointing splatter. Story 3. I always end up with my hand on my hip while brushing my teeth, fistballed, power stance, staring contest with myself. Story 4. Before pooping, I put some toilet paper in the toilet. 1. Prevents splashback. 2. Minimizes noise. 3. Forces you to check if there's toilet paper before pooping. Story 5. I weigh myself before and after I poopus, so I know how much my waist weighed. Record is around 2 pounds. Story 6. Just before I get out of the shower, I turn the knob that controls the temperature ever so slightly, making the water colder and colder until my body adjusts to the IT. When it's too cold to bear, I stand in it for a minute and then get out of the shower. I don't know if it's beneficial, but I feel more alert and awake once I get out. Answer. I do this too because I'm as hairy as a chimpanzee. Really? It's everywhere. Only patches on my body without hair growing are on my wrist palms, the sides of my feet, and the parts of my face that normally don't, high cheeks, around my eyes and my forehead. Thus my body traps heat like crazy. I love a hot shower, but if I heat up my entire body to that level, the heat will absolutely stay with me, trapped by my natural layer of clothing. If I don't taper down the water temperature and get used to a L, may as well have not taken a shower at all. I'll keep sweating for anywhere. From 15 minutes to an hour. It's disgusting. Cold showers all the way. Story 7. I don't know if this is weird or not, but I have to have complete silence while I'm pooping. If I can hear what's going on outside of the bathroom, it's not happening. Sometimes I turn on the fan if I really need to go. That way at least I'm hearing some sort of constant noise rather than multiple TVs or my family talking. Story 8. I take pictures of my poop and text them to random numbers. It's really funny when you get a text back. Hudis niga anias der shoot on my phone. Sersely niga ye? Why? Story 9. Take my pants and boxers off when I poop, and when I'm done I get up and wash my jans before putting on my pants. I don't want any chance of shoot on my pants. Story 10. I sometimes eat a snack while in the shower. Food on a stick like corn dogs or popsicles work best, but I have also eaten a bowl of soup and a bag of popcorn with some success. Story 11. I personally have to strip down fully naked in order to take a dump. I also seem to refuse to do a number 2 in a public toilet, no matter how much I need it. Story 12. I have fairly long hair, so when I'm washing my hair, I always get a few strands in my hand. I have to take that hair, put it on the shower wall tiles, and make shapes with them. Story 13. I'm a guy and always sit down to pee. It's just more comfortable and convenient. I know there must be others like me out there. Story 14. I flush the toilet before I'm done peeing to make a little pee vortex. The sound is way more satisfying too. Story 15. I brush my teeth in the shower in the morning. I do a much more thorough job. I really don't care if the paste gets all over. I also have a terrible habit of only shaving one underarm. I just get sidetracked. Too many times have I gone in public with prickly city on the left and smoothness on the right. Story 16. In the morning, if my face is a little puffy, I'll put on an ice pack while doing stomach crunches. I can do 1,000 now. After I remove the ice pack, I use a deep pore cleanser lotion. In the shower, I use a water-activated gel cleanser, then a honey almond body scrub, and on the face, an exfoliating gel scrub. Then I apply an herb mint facial mask which I leave on for 10 minutes while I prepare the rest of my routine. I always use an aftershave lotion with little or no adult beverage because adult beverage dries your face out and makes you look older. Then moisturizer, then an anti-aging eye balm, followed by a final moisturizing protective lotion. Story 17. Try not to laugh reading this. Anyway, when you're as old as I am, 74, even though a man, I sit down on the toilet to pee like women do. When you're young and you're done peeing, one squeeze and you're done. Not so when you get old. There's always one drop left that won't fall. To get that last drop, I take one and only one sheet of toilet paper, fold it twice, and wipe the tip of my male body part to get that last drop. Works for me. Story 18. Whenever I'm at home and pooping, I take off my pants completely. I like having the range of motions and dexterity that pantlessness allows. Story 19. Anyone else out? Nope. Out from using a toilet that has one of those 90s plush, cushiony toilet seats? You know, the one your grandma has. Off yellow, a few cracks that pinch or scratch your butt. The seat is always suspiciously warm, which freaks me the fudge out. Ugh, overnight at grandma's, cushioned toilet seat from hell, sitting staring at knickknacks and a Virgin Mary picture with some do-gooder coot on it. I'll take a cold, hard, regular, and sanitary seat any day, and a picture of Satan or unicorns. Answer. OMG, my grandparents have this. I went to their house recently for the first time in a long time. BC, my family rarely speaks to them. BC, they're assholes. And even though I really had to pee, I just stood there with the door locked, staring at the cushiony seat, remembering the last time I had used it and dislike it. Then after waiting an adequate amount of time, I turned on the sink for a sec and then walked out like I had actually done something in there. At least I had a few minutes of peace, I guess. Story 20. I put my feet up into a squatting position to poop. My friends have a squatty potty and sold me on the whole thing. I don't care to buy a squatty potty, but I use the little bathroom garbage can and it works the same. Story 21. I take Snapchats of myself pooping and caption them with inspirational rap quotes and send them to my friends. I call them dump snaps. Story 22. I sit under the magnificent cascade of water that is the shower and just think about stuff. Hopefully, I am not the only one that does this ritual. Story 23. Dunno when I started doing this, but if I'm wearing a sweatshirt, I always take it off before going to the bathroom. Story 24. Clean my butthole in the shower by sticking my soaped-up finger in there and wiggling it around. I do, of course, sniff it afterwards. My farts don't smell as bad after a shower. Story 25. I have a specific spot on the wall of the shower where I rest my head while I'm showering because I'm usually half asleep. I also like to pretend I'm Spider-Man and extend my arms so that water runs down and shoots off of my fingers like a web. Story 26. Friends have called me out saying I have OCD for this. Whenever I poop in my house, I wipe my butt with toilet paper, then go into the shower to give myself a full butthole wash using soap. I can't stand the thought of walking around with poop remnants hanging out in my butt as I go about my day. Story 27. I read every comment trying to find someone else who does this, but to no avail. All right. Sometimes when I'm pooping, if I feel some of it still in there but no amount of pushing will get it out, I'll take a piece of toilet paper, cover my finger with it, then stick my finger up my butthole and scoop the poop out. I'm sorry. Answer. All right, throwaway. Because I figure I'd want one of these for shameful shoot. Zing. I'll admit to in other threads. But, yeep, you aren't alone. No toilet paper method though, because that breaks too easily and is awful. Used to use gloves, but now found out flushable baby wipes actually work great. I like to use them in general, but it keeps it covered better and feels much cleaner, is easier to do in those emergencies. I'd rather be temporarily uncouth than feel way more disgusting having it slide back into the depths or just painfully sit there. I learned you could do this from my best friend's mom when I was super constipated a few years ago, since she had to do the same in a couple of emergencies. So there's a few of us out there. Edit. Also just remembered a shitload of girls I've met either know about or have tried the push through the lining of your vag walls to try and get it out if you're constipated, so I'm pretty certain it spawns from that and is more common in chicks. I don't know. Story 28. Wipe my male body part with toilet paper after urinating. I have no idea why people enjoy letting drops of piss congeal in their underwear. Edit. And this is my top comment, RIP. Story 29. I turn the lights off but keep the little nightlight plugged in the wall on so I can see. I turn the shower or bath on really hot so it steams, and then I sit on the edge of the tub or toilet and zone out for a little bit. Oh, I forgot that ventilation fan has to be on. I love that sound. It makes me sleepy. Story 30. I lick Q-tips before I put them in my ears, but so does the hot curly-haired lesbian from Orange is the New Black. Story 31. I rarely shower. I prefer baths. I started by taking them only when I needed to wash my hair, because that's really the only way I can get all of it wet rinsed. But then I got hooked. I'm a bath person now. This is my life, and I love it. Story 32. I use a rectal syringe before each dump. Makes the dump quick and clean with hardly any wiping. It's a major time saver. Story 33. I have caught many, and I mean many, legendary Pokemon sitting on the toilet. You're always stuck trying to catch your box cover legendary while sitting on the toilet. I've done it with Mewtwo, Moltres, Lugia, and more on several playthroughs. It's just such an opportune time to do it. Story 34. I get headaches often. When they become unbearable, I perform a ritual that I like to call La Mort Noire, or the Black Passing. Let me preface this by saying it isn't as bad as it sounds. Okay, cool. So when I engage in La Mort Noire ritual due to a headache, I enter my bathroom and close the door behind me. I lock it and turn the lights off. Then I turn the shower on and get it perfectly warm. I then take my phone and put on Camille Saint-Saëns' Danse Macabre. After that, I thoroughly enjoy a hot shower while listening to some very soothing music. I sink deeper into relaxation and my headache always seems to melt away. TLDR. Whenever headaches arise, take shower in complete darkness while listening to classical music. Edit. If anyone wants the playlist that I use, let me know. Story 35. When brushing my tongue, if I don't make myself gag, I don't feel like I have adequately brushed my teeth and tongue. Story 36. I sit in the shower, hardly ever stand, unless it's public, and do all my business from the bottom of the tub. I was pleasantly surprised when I found out my ex did too. We had some amazing conversations and life-changing moments sitting in the shower together. Not dirty, haha. We did our best communicating while washing our hair. Story 37. 3 things. Yes, I am a sick fudge. 1. After I shoot and I wipe my jerk, I like to smell the paper. If it smells really bad, I laugh. 2. When I piss, I put my right leg up on the bowl, kind of like the Captain Morgan guy. I don't know why I do it. Because I jerk off so much, my piss sometimes comes out like a Y. When I'm in that position, I usually piss on myself or the floor and then have to change my boxers. 3. I never ever wash my hands after shoot or pissing. I'll fake it in a public restroom, but alone, never. Story 38. I always flush the toilet before I finish peeing so as to make the end of my stream and the end of the flush coincide. It's pretty satisfying when you get it just right, although it's become so habitual that I sometimes unconsciously flush right when I begin peeing. I then feel bad about wasting water and just leave the urine unflushed. Story 39. I don't look at my poop, ever. It's gross. I also won't poop anywhere besides my own bathroom. I've held it in for 3-4 days straight while camping to wait until I get home to poop. I'm a guy, so peeing is fine. There's just something about pooping that gets to me. Story 40. When I brush my teeth and rinse my toothbrush, my hand gets wet. I need to rinse my other hand before drying them because it feels weird with only one wet hand. And if I go to dry them and one is wet, I can't continue and I make them both wet and dry them again. Story 41. After taking a dump to avoid the marker effect, I pour some water in the toilet paper to wipe my jerk is like using wet wipes. Story 42. I always put toilet paper on the seat, at home or when I'm out. This way, the seat is never cold, never wet, and I know there is toilet paper before I sit down. Story 43. I have been told I'm weird for this, and it's not weird at all. I shower at night. I don't understand people who shower in the morning. You just slept in bed with the entire scum of the day on you and transferred all that shoot to your sheets. When I was living with a BF and changing the sheets one day, I held them up to the light to show him his side versus my side of the bed. The amount of oil dirt on his side was clearly visible and disgusting. Story 44. I usually leave a few dirty clothes on the floor before taking a shower. Saves my feet from stepping on a wet floor when I'm done. Story 45. I rub spit on my TP for better and less abrasive wiping. It also prevents little TP Klingons near Uranus. Story 46. I sit on the toilet for an obscene amount of time after I've finished pooping, browsing the internet on my phone. I will sit there for an hour becoming an expert on one historical event that happened in another country just because I can. Story 47. I always stand in the shower with my arms folded behind my back and putting all my weight on my right leg and just stare the fudge into space while all the water hits the back of my head and slowly dribbles down the rest of my body. Story 48. I use an electric toothbrush that lasts 2 minutes, so my weird routine is to walk around my room while brushing. Most people just chill in front of the mirror while brushing, but I go turn on my computer, make my bed, etc. while brushing so I can multitask. The toothbrush is doing most of my work for me, so I want to take advantage of it. Story 49. I do a 3-point check before ever sitting my precious booty on the seat. 1. Is there toilet paper? 2. Is the seat down and clean no crap already in the bowl? 3. Will the door close and lock? If in Thailand, 1 more point. 4. Where the frick did that giant gecko go? Story 50. I check under the lid before I sit down because I watched a show when I was like 8 and a snake was in the toilet bowl. That, and I don't want spiders under the lid while I drop bombs. Story 51. After I'm done before I wipe, I like to look at it and take it in for a minute. My body created this, just me, by myself. It's really gratifying and spiritual. My friends call me Ron, but you guys can call me the Turd Whisperer. Story 52. I brush my teeth in the shower. I'm at a lifetime streak record. Bonus: it removes some guilt of staying longer in the shower. Story 53. In the AM, I always take a dump before I jump in the shower. I find it repetitive to wipe my jerk before I jump in the shower, so I just finish shoot and jump in the shower. Wash my jerk out in the shower. Story 54. If I know I'm going to vomit and I'm ready to go in front of the toilet, I have to strip completely naked or to my panties, if at home, or at least take off my shirt and bra, if in someone else's home. The cool feel of the floor tiles and porcelain on my skin feels amazing in that horrible moment of puking. Story 55. I throw my towel on the floor where the heat vent is before I get in the shower. That way, it is like right out of the dryer when I finish. I will always try and poop before I shower. I pee in the shower, and I brush my teeth in the shower. Story 56. When at home, I have a special towel. Not a towel for drying off, or anything a towel would conventionally be used for. You see, when I poop, I drape the towel over my legs. It blocks the smell and it keeps my legs toasty warm. Story 57. Maybe a little late, but sometimes I get a short shiver when I'm pooping, and for whatever reason decided to make a Donald Duck impression whenever this happens. Story 58. I dry the tip of my male body part with toilet paper, even after shaking it free of the last drops of pee, just to make sure. Story 59. I always wash my hair first. That way, after I've been in there 20 mins, I don't have to try to remember if I washed my hair. Story 60. I take a towel and wrap it around me and cross the edges in front of my forehead, then put my head against the wall so I don't have to hold it and fall asleep. I do this almost every morning for about 5 minutes, and it's the best nap ever. I also wrap myself in the towel and sit in the shower almost every morning. It's awesome. You should try it. Story 61. Late to the party once again. Oh, well, female here. Once I'm done peeing, I shake my jerk a little on the seat before wiping. Saves on toilet paper. When my fiancé first saw me do this, he was extremely impressed. Loves how practical it is. Story 62. I have a detachable shower head, so I take it off and move it around my body rather than leaving it and then rotating in the shower. I don't know if that's weird though. Story 63. When I have to sit, my ears immediately start itching, and I grab a Q-tip or two and clean them while I'm going. Story 64. I hand squeegee every square inch of Depsodent at least twice before touching my towel after showering. Story 65. I'm really anal about keeping my female body part clean, and I don't really trust toilet paper to do the job. When I'm done using the bathroom, whether it's piss or shoot, I sit facing my bathroom sink and run the water on my female body part. So much more sanitary in my opinion. Story 66. I open the door once I've finished my business because by then nothing's private anymore and I can get out faster. Story 67. Checking behind the shower curtain to make sure that there aren't any creepy assholes watching me. It's after watching way too many cop shows. Story 68. I take my shirt off to take a dump. I also sit down in the shower most of the time. Even if I'm in a hurry, I will sit and relax in the shower. Story 69. I take off my pants completely. I got a new low-flow toilet installed last year, but it is too short and too low to the ground. Story 70. I sit down when I shower on the floor of the tub. I don't know. It's just so relaxing to just let hot water run over your body while you're curled up. I also put a towel under the door, hotboxing the bathroom with steam, so I'm not miserable when I get out. Story 71. I always take my shirt off in the bathroom, no matter what I'm doing. I don't know why, it's just habit. I go in, shirt comes off. Story 72. When I brush my teeth, my left hand has to be in my pocket. If I'm not wearing pants that have pockets, I'm very uncomfortable the entire time. Story 73. I place hair that comes out in the toilet. As a girl with thick hair, I lose a lot and find placing it in the trash is not secure enough. Story 74. Every time I'm brushing my teeth, I walk out and into my roommate's bedroom. Usually it's when he's not there and I just stare at his messy room until my toothbrush shuts off. Story 75. Take off all my clothes to poop or pee. Also, when I'm brushing my teeth, that toothbrush is a microphone. Story 76. I whip the water off my body after showering with my hands. It makes you less wet and cold when you get out of the shower and conserving towel usage. Story 77. For one, I grab onto the towel rack on the wall in front of me at eye level right above the toilet. Then I lean over the bowl from more of a straight down angle and go with the "look ma, no hands" aiming technique. I have no idea why I do this. Story 78. My roommates buy really super thick toilet paper. I count out exactly 4 squares so as not to clog the toilet. Story 79. When I was a kid, I read a book in school that mentioned that spitting in your pee when you were going was good luck. Ever since, I have to spit in my pee, every time, usually trying to hit the stream. Story 80. I always take my watch off before using the John. No idea why I started, but it's been happening for a few years running. Story 81. I have to go numero dos on a separate floor than other people. I also lock the door and get on Reddit. If I don't, I just can't go. Story 82. When I'm doing 1 or 2, I always pull back the curtain. Whether at my house or someone else's house, I do this regardless. When I know I'm slaying the beast, I do my courtesy flushes. Also, I always lay down the bird's nest prior to number 2. Story 83. After my shower, I leave my legs wet so my dog can come in and lick them. It seems to make her so happy. Story 84. I tend to spin in circles when I brush my teeth. Not intentionally, I just realized the other day how long I've been doing it. Story 85. If I have one of those waist pain twos, I have to disrobe completely. I then lean my head against the wall until the pain passes. The cold tile wall helps ease the ouch. Story 86. Apparently, I'm one of a very small percentage of people who wipes my jerk standing up. And before it starts, yes, I know I'm weird. I have no idea why I do it that way. I just always have. I've tried wiping sitting down. I've tried reaching between the legs and wiping forward. I've tried from behind and under wiping backwards. What's really weird is when I'm standing in a completely upright position and someone walks in and sees me standing there and asks what I'm doing, and I have to explain that I'm wiping my jerk. The typical response is standing up, to which I reply yes. I then usually get a weird look. I usually just crouch down while standing, so nobody sees me.